co-CEO of Crossvault Capital Management.
I'm Laura Ehrenberg Chesler, and we're here today at Crossvault Conversations with Ernesto Bromley, who is CEO and co-founder of Bromley Communications. Ernesto is responsible for developing the company's unique Hispanic segmentation approach and has led Bromley to become the largest Hispanic marketing communications company in the country. Ernesto, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'd like to start off by asking you, how does advertising to the Hispanic market differ, if at all, from advertising to the general population in America?
Basically, a redefinition of what is American culture is happening right before our eyes. And companies like ours have a stronger pulse on that and understand that evolution than folks who spend most of their time focused on what was defined as mainstream America, which is rooted in Anglo-American. So you can see it clearer here because San Antonio was Hispanic before it became the United States. And so we were very much part of the Spanish colonial history. And so the multi-generations of Latinos in this area of the world, and it's true as you go west as well, it's easier to see the impact of integration of Anglo culture with Anglo-American culture with Hispanic, in this case Mexican, Spanish origin culture, along with other cultures that were here, German culture as well, and so forth, which is part of the colonial period of San Antonio. So, and then the other reason why it's easier to see it here is because San Antonio historically has not been a big job market. So we're not a big magnet for immigrant jobs like Los Angeles is, or like even Houston because of the oil industry and all that stuff, or New York, or Miami, Chicago. San Antonio for the Mexican immigrant has been a way station. So people flow through here on the way to other places. Just so you can see the multi-generation population easier here. They exist in LA. I mean, LA has a Spanish colonial history like we do. But you can't find those folks as easy. You'll hit lots of immigrants way before you'll hit a native born or a multi-generation native born. Yeah, so that's what makes it different and why agencies based here can grasp it and sell this whole notion of acculturation and cross-cultural pollinization between Anglos and Hispanics. But we are the model of where this country's going. Twitter is an example of a media channel, and this is a channel that just really didn't exist up until now. It's becoming a pretty interesting vehicle to PR things, for brands to be able to send out updates about its product or about its promotions anywhere, anytime, any place. So you can go local and you can go across the whole national. The way we're going about it is that we're developing a marketing communications program, including these mediums or channels to communicate.
So you're really, just to reiterate this point, you're using all of the social media or networking tools that are available at your disposal to help your clients. Where you sit, how do you see the economy? It's August of 2009. We've come through a pretty meaningful financial and economic crisis, and it seems as though things are stabilizing. But that doesn't necessarily mean improving. Do you see improvement? And if you do, where do you see it?
Well, this economy, I think a lot of people would agree with me on this, has been like nothing I've ever seen in my 30 years of being in business. And we've seen things happen on the spending side that has been like, wow. So we've gone from very robust spenders to zero spending, and a lot of it driven on the lack of confidence in the marketplace, and so forth. And there's a very interesting fear that went on from I guess you could say September, August of 2008. We moved right into the new year, and so we saw a lot of business go out the window. Clients, many of the clients are still with us. They're just not spending.
They're not spending, right?
And so, and they're happy clients to boot. And so, which is a pretty interesting situation. We've never had anything quite like that. And so, but now as we're basing 10, and I mean basically 09 has happened,
right,
so to speak, in terms of our financial budgets and so forth. And we're building a 10 budget now that's much more optimistic right now than I would have done back in January. And so, so I mean, as we begin to rebuild and what we're doing in our marketing communications plans and stuff for our clients, this notion of choicefulness is like under the microscope. And so things like what we've been talking about in terms of new media and so forth, I think we're going to see these types of mediums take a stronger place in marketing portfolios.
Ernesto, thank you so much for being here. I'm not going to say goodbye because we're going to do another segment with you. I know you've been very involved in education initiatives in San Antonio that are not going to just impact our local community, but it may be statewide and nationwide. And so we'd like to do another segment with you, and we look forward to doing that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.